Kia ora, good afternoon. We are breaking into normal programming to bring you breaking news from Christchurch. The Christchurch terrorist Brenton Tarrant has just been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Just repeating that, the Christchurch terrorist Brenton Tarrant has just been sentenced to life in prison without parole. It comes after 3 days of emotional victim impact statements from more than 90 people. Newshub reporter Juliet Speedy joins me now live from the High Court in Christchurch. Juliet, what was the reaction in the court?
There was very little reaction in the court to this sentence just being handed down minutes ago by Justice Cameron Mander. Very little reaction from the public gallery and very little reaction from Tarrant himself. This sentencing has been underway since 10 o'clock this morning. It has been highly emotional at times, with some distressed people in the public gallery listening to the judge talk about the victims, talk about sentiments of their personalities and the great loss of these people and the devastating impacts it's had on the community. But when the verdict was handed down, the courtroom was eerily still.
And Juliet, what did the sentencing judge have to say when he handed out that sentence?
Well, he talked a lot, as I just mentioned, about the victims. He talked from the victim impact statements about parts of their personality, and the 35 or so people in the public gallery, the survivors and victims' families, were very distressed at this point, highly emotional. Extra boxes of tissues needed to be brought into the courtroom at this time. Now, of course, the judge also addressed Brenton Tarrant himself, talking about his callous and unprecedented crime in this country and about his malignant and warped ideology that had no place in our country. But here is the moment that Mander handed down the sentence to Brenton Tarrant.
On each of the 51 charges of murder, charges 1 to 51, you were sentenced to life imprisonment. I order that you serve the sentences without parole. On each of the 40 charges of attempted murder, charges 52 to 91, you were sentenced to concurrent terms of 12 years imprisonment. On the charge of committing a terrorist act, charge 92, you were sentenced to life imprisonment.
Now, there's been a lot of talk in the previous weeks and months about whether Brenton Tarrant was going to address the court during this process. There was concern that he would use it as a platform for his hate speech. But there were also victims that wanted to hear from him. They wanted to know if there was any remorse, regret, even an apology, and some of them were upset yesterday when the news came out that he wasn't going to address the court. But he did utter only 3 words today when the judge asked him a question. So let's have a listen to that.
Tarrant, you have not filed any submissions or a sentencing memorandum in relation to this case. Apart from the submission that has been made on your behalf by Mr. Hall as standby counsel, do you wish to make any submissions or to address the court before sentence is imposed?
No, thank you.
Do you appreciate that you have the right to address the court and make submissions in relation to the imposition of sentence? You've nodded.
Yes.
Do you wish to have any further time to discuss the position that you're taking with standby counsel?
No, thank you.
Now, Mitch, the families are just starting to emerge from the courtroom behind me. They have just heard only 4 or 5 minutes ago that the sentence of life without parole has been handed down by Justice Cameron Mander. This is the sentence these people have been wanting. This is what they've been telling the court over and over that they've wanted, and now they've got it. If we just pan around here, we can see reaction at the front door of the court. This again is one of the victims. They will be very happy with the sentence today, Mitch.